Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Hope you're all doing well today. And today is Monday, May 26, 2020. Today we'll be looking at the comic Ronin Island, issues 1 through 11. I'm hoping that issue 12 is the final one in this arc. It's been pretty good and exciting. First off, I just want to go back and just talk about something else that's kind of happened. I've done a number of reviews on DCeased Unkilliables, and the last one was issue 3 that came out, and I kind of gave it sort of a negative review, even though I enjoyed the first 2 issues a lot. The third one, I thought it was a real fall off and a rush job. I did like it okay. It was just okay compared to the other ones that I thought were really, really good. So it was a little disappointment. But when I went in and looked at the other guys, the other reviews that were out there, they were all super praising issue 3. So I'm like doing a 180 on theirs. I'm not sure why they loved it so much. I mean, there was just, they really liked the story. They liked the ending, and I thought the ending was kind of a cop-out. And they kind of mentioned that too in some of the reviews. But I was just wondering, are these reviewers getting free product? And if somebody could put that in the comments, if they know if that's a fact or not, because they were so glowing over it, and I thought it was not so good. But that was my opinion. Mine was, like I said, I think I looked at a dozen reviews of it, and they were all thumbs up, well up. One person kind of mentioned the art wasn't as good, but since it was a zombie comic, that was okay then. And I just thought that was kind of a weird way to put it. I thought the art was really not that good on the third one. And the first 2 was fine. I enjoyed the art in the first 2. So if anybody can give me comments on that, I'd much appreciate it. It's just odd that I'm the only one that's dissenting vote on it. So, getting over to Ronin Island, I discovered this not the day it came out, and I meant to look up sales figures for it and see how well it's doing. The first issue came out, I believe, in February of 2019. I didn't pick it up until March 2019. I happened to be in California at the time. A friend of mine at a comic book store, the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach, and it was sketch night there, so I make it a point to make it over there if I can, to say hello to everybody and do some sketching of my own. And he's into martial arts and everything, and he had mentioned that. It goes, oh, you should look at this Ronin Island, it's pretty good. And it's written by Greg Pak, and I had just finished another series with Greg Pak. It was, let's see if I can get this right. I always get the order of the words wrong. It was Mech Cadet U by Greg Pak. And this one, this is a different storyline. That one was okay. I enjoyed it for the most part. But I think this is a much stronger story on this one. So I picked it up at the store there. And I only had 2 other copies of comics with me that I brought with me because I thought I was going to buy a lot of stuff because I was actually going to Wondercon in Anaheim. And so I bought this one. I had the Superman, I can't think of the name of it, is Man of Steel? Superman Man of Steel, the Marv Wolfman that came out about that time. It was I think it was about 100-pager, maybe less, comic as well. And it turns out that I had this comic with me, and Greg Pak was doing a table at WonderCon there, and so I got him to sign it. That was really cool. And then I went to a panel, and it turned out Marv Wolfman was at that panel, and I asked him to sign my comic of Man of Steel, and he was charging, but he said for that particular issue, since it was the new one that was coming out, it was kind of like not done 10 years ago. It was not released. They went a different direction, and then DC decided to release it, and the art in it is excellent. It's a really pretty good story about Clark Kent making his way to Metropolis. It doesn't really go into the very, very beginning. It kind of goes his transition from leaving Smallville and going to Metropolis and how he handled his first few months there. Very good. I recommend it. Marv Wolfman, I believe it's called Superman and Man of Steel. So anyway, he said, I'll come back to my desk when we're done and I'll sign it there. And he said, he was charging for, like I said, he was charging for signatures, but that particular book he was really proud of. And he says at this convention, he was signing those for free. So I got a free signature on that. And it turned out that Alex Sinclair was there as well. He's a colorist. And he happened to do the colors on the cover of that particular issue. So he's a friend of mine, works for him as a flatter. And so he introduced me to him, and he was happy to sign it as well. So I got like 3 signatures out of at that show. And I'm not a big autographed hound, but it turns out they were on pretty good books that I got it done. So that's kind of nice. So let's get into Ronin Island. I've been babbling about other things. Hopefully you're enjoying everything. We had another day of rain at the very beginning of this early morning. I don't know if it's going to rain again tomorrow. We've had like 6 straight days of rain. Yesterday, Memorial Day, it just rained all day long pretty much, finally stopping about 4 p.m. and until it started raining in early morning today. I know I'm not the greatest at this, and I am keeping the day job, and I have you know. I have to do these kind of later at night because Miriam is on her work laptop, and hers seems to hog a lot of bandwidth. So once she gets off, I can kind of finish this up. So Ronin Island, it's basically a coming-of-age story in a fantastic Japanese feudal system. The 2 main characters are portrayed on here. I'll get in close. The boy is Kenichi, and he is kind of a privileged youth. His father has a legacy of helping, I guess, establish the island. He's known as a protector of the island, and he has passed on. But his family's wealthy. And then we have the girl Hana, and she's a Korean refugee that happens to be on this island. I don't know how many Korean refugees are on there. There's a few, it seems like, but it's mostly Japanese, it seems like. And there was an event called the Great Wind, which I'm assuming was like a great flood or something that destroyed many of the lands, that killed off a lot of the population, but a small number of this ended up on this island, Ronin's Island, which they were able to protect and survive and thrive, basically. So it seems like a pretty good place to live. It starts out that both of these young people are graduating their samurai lessons or class. They really don't explain exactly what it is, but they've learned a lot of life skills. And there's a competition at the very end to see who's going to be the top of class. And it involves a running race and a rowing race. And Kenichi is wearing his father's samurai gear. So typically he probably would have been faster than Hana, but that's kind of weighs him down a little bit. But they end up in a dead heat and tying. I'm not really giving away a lot of the story by that, but just got her respect from the people on the island at that point, because she was looked down upon because she's poor, lived in a shack by the beach, which is not a bad thing to do. Really, if you think about it, not too bad of a predicament. So just as they're going through the ceremony of graduating and everything, there's an arrival of a shogun from the mainland. And what he's got, he wants to basically just say, hey, my master wants to take over your island, and just do it. Basically, that's kind of his demand. They're saying, why? He goes, well, this is why. And then he points across the mainland. I guess the mainland's not too far away because you can kind of see it. And you see workers in the field and suddenly they are besieged by a zombie type monster that emits a certain gas. So the people get bitten by these creatures, or they breathe in this gas once, if the creature's killed or is transforming. I can't remember exactly. They'll turn into a zombie as well. So they decide to go across the waters to help these mainlanders fight off this group of zombies. And I'm sorry, because I seem like I get halfway through these videos and I run out of gas. So hopefully you're enjoying it so far. But so there's all these things that kind of happen during the, I mean, I've gone through 11 issues. That's just how the first issue ends, is they cross over the mainland and they decide to fight with this shogun and a few of his warriors. But the whole thing's kind of a setup, and you find out that his master's actually like a boy king who's and he's kind of a jerk. He's a real big jerk. He just sends people to their deaths. But there's a lot of different military strategies that they incorporate. There's a lot of deaths, you know, that occur in this, unfortunately, for the islanders. And they do make a stand, go back and do make a stand at the island at some point. But I'm hoping issue 12 will wrap it all up, because I've enjoyed it really. It's been a pretty strong book. As soon as I buy it, I usually just read it in the store. Just sit down, my local store, 2011 Comics, and just go ahead and read it right then. And it's pretty easy to follow, and I can give you a little sample of some of the art here. I'll go to issue 2 because they have a pretty good spread here. The artist is Giannis Milonogiannis, or Giannis Milonogiannis. So I'll get, you can see what I'm trying to struggle with here. There you go. Giannis Milonogiannis. And the colorist kind of stays in this type of hue the whole time. These orange teal, orangey blue. You can see a lot of orange. There's a lot of action in all these comics. There's a lot of positioning between the different groups, you know, vying for freedom and not being taken over by the feudal king. But he's wasted a lot of his resources in these 11 issues, so it'll be nice to see how it kind of falls out in the 12th. I'm hoping the 12th is an end. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight on these comics. I hope you enjoy them. I think you should look into it if you do like this kind of art and this kind of storyline. I did enjoy it, and I'm pretty picky about what I like. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now. I went a little bit long on this one. So this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Enjoy and have a good week. Take care.